Let's find an online calculator for you to use for this particular activity where we're using roots. And you may not have your calculator at home. So we're going to go to Google. We're going to type in Desmos, and you're going to see Desmos calculator pop up. We want Desmos calculator. And I want the scientific calculator. We're not doing graphing right now, so we want the scientific. I don't want the for function, that's just add, subtract, multiply, divide. I want scientific calculator. So I'm gonna go over to scientific calculator, and it's gonna open up this page. So you'll see your basic functions down here at the bottom. So we've got our number pad in the middle. We've got percent and fractions. We've got our enter down here in the bottom right. Backspace on the bottom right also, and then move our cursor to the left or the right. All right, so on the left here is where we're going to use our exponents and our roots. So if I just want to do a straight up square root, that's this here. So I'm going to type the square root key. It's going to show me that up there in my window. Let's say I want to find out the square root of 81. Now I can type that in on my keypad, or if I want to use the numbers on my keyboard, either way. And then you'll notice that on the right, it's already showing you what your answer is. So if I continue to type stuff in there, it'll give me a different answer. Notice that this 81 is below the radical sign there. So if I want to do the square root of 81 and then do other things to it, I'm going to use my cursor key to move over, or I could use my arrow key on my keyboard, and then I can start typing other things. So I'm going to say plus 17. So notice that the plus 17 is not inside the radical sign. So if I want to type stuff in here that's not under the radical, I need to use my cursor and go to the right, or use this arrow, move the cursor over, or use the arrow, left, right arrow on my keyboard and do that. All right, so that's our square root. So I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to hit delete and clear that all out. All right, so let's work with our other roots there. So let's go back to our exponents here. So let's say I want to have an exponent, an exponent that's not squared. So this will square, but this will do other exponents. So let's say I want to do 6, and I want to do it to the cubed. So I typed in 6, then I hit my a to the b power of b key, and then I typed in 3. Notice how my cursor is teeny tiny up there with the 3. If I keep typing numbers in, it's going to think I want that as my exponent, which I don't. So I'm going to get rid of those 3 numbers here. So again, if I wanted to do 6 to the 3rd power plus some other things, I would want to use my arrow key to move my cursor. Notice how my cursor is nice and large now. So I could say minus and then 12. And then it would do that. So notice that the rest of this now is not that exponent. Okay, if I hit enter, it's going to leave that there for me. I can see what I've done in the past there. All right, let's do our roots that are not square roots. So here is all of the other roots that are not square roots. If you remember from our scientific calculators in class, I need to type what root I want, and then I want to type in my radicand. I want to type in this key here. Notice that my cursor is kind of the little tiny one tucked into that beginning of my radical sign there. So that's asking me for my radical. So let's do a cube root. Now I'm going to use my mouse and my cursor, or I could use the arrow keys to type what I want as my radicand. So notice 216 is underneath, 3 is tucked in my radical sign there, and it gives me a cube root of 6. Again, if I want to add something to that, I'm going to use my arrow key and go over. And let's say I want to do minus 36. And then it'll show that over on the right. All right, I'm going to hit enter, and it'll leave that there for me. So if I need to go back and look at what I did before, I've got that there. So that's how to use your Desmos calculator to find your roots.